The ultimate debate over the GOAT, the greatest of all time, was arguably settled following that luminous final night in Lusail in 2022. However, the footballing world never truly stops dreaming. Today, we are not going to argue about who is the superior player. Instead, we are opening the door to a multiverse, exploring the most insanely captivating scenario recently sparked across global football forums by a single edited photograph. What if fate decided to play a trick on us? What if Cristiano Ronaldo had taken his first breath in an impoverished neighborhood in Rosario, growing up to wear the sacred blue and white stripes of the Argentine national team? Conversely, what if Lionel Messi, a boy with absolute magic in his boots, had been born on the sun-drenched island of Madeira, eventually becoming the ultimate symbol and greatest pride of Portuguese football? For a moment, put aside the individual statistics, the Ballon d'Or trophies, and the astonishing club-level goal-scoring records. International football operates as an entirely distinct ecosystem. You cannot simply purchase new players, but must instead assemble existing pieces into a unified collective. When you inject these two greatest footballing DNAs in history into completely contrasting environments, the chronicles of the World Cup and the Euros would undeniably have to be rewritten. Welcome to the most in-depth tactical analysis of the swap of the century. Fasten your seatbelts, because what you are about to hear might completely permanently alter the way you perceive these two monumental legends. To truly comprehend the devastating power of our first scenario, we must examine the historical context of the Argentine national team. Ever since Diego Maradona conquered the globe in 1986, La Albiceleste has proudly stood as the birthplace of phenomenally magical number 10 says. From Ariel Ortega, Pablo Aimar, and Juan Román Riquelme to Angel Di Maria, they have never suffered a shortage of creative masterminds, true artists ready to dance across the green pitch. However, Argentina's tragedy for nearly 3 decades, particularly following the era of the Lion King Gabriel Batistuta, was their severe lack of a sufficiently ruthless number 9. They desperately yearned for someone willing to execute opponents with the ice-cold demeanor of a cold-blooded assassin. Let us rewind the time machine to the night of the 2014 World Cup final at the Maracana. In the 21st minute, Toni Kroos executed a careless defensive header. The ball fell perfectly into the stride of a sprinting Gonzalo Higuaín. Standing before him was only Manuel Neuer. Millions of Argentines collectively held their breath, and then the shot drifted wide off the post. We can also recall those unimaginable misses during the consecutive Copa America finals in 2015 and 2016. Higuaín, Agüero, and Palacio were all exceptional strikers at the club level, but upon wearing the national colors, the crushing weight of expectation essentially turned their legs to stone. Now, envision the person standing in Higuaín's exact position during that pivotal moment being Cristiano Ronaldo. Armed with the sharpest goal-poaching instincts in history, elite one-touch finishing capabilities with both feet, and nerves of steel forged through dozens of Champions League finals, do you think Neuer would have stood a chance? The answer is almost certainly no. Had Ronaldo spearheaded that attack, Argentina could have proudly stitched the third star onto their crest as early as 2014. Wearing the Argentine jersey, Ronaldo would never have to endure a lack of service. Picture a tactical system impeccably engineered to cater to his every need. In the deeper zones, tireless workhorses like Javier Mascherano or later Rodrigo de Paul would relentlessly sweep the midfield. Operating on the flanks, Di Maria would consistently deliver crosses with lethally curving trajectories. Through the center, the likes of Enzo Fernandez or Mac Allister would thread through balls that completely dismantle defensive lines. Ronaldo's sole responsibility would be to anchor himself in the penalty box, optimize his positioning, leap into the air, and absolutely obliterate the opponent's net. He would not need to drop deep to construct plays. He would only need to embody the role of a true tyrant. Furthermore, Ronaldo's authentic power within the Argentine setup would be maximized on the South American stage, the Copa America. South American football is fiercely renowned for its brutality, aggressive tackles, cunning dark arts, and deeply ingrained street ball essence. Ronaldo's freakish physique, muscular dominance, and sheer tenacity were practically born to bulldoze through defenders who favor this bone-crunching style. CR7's ruggedness, seamlessly fused with the notorious Argentine cunning, would forge an utterly overwhelming force, both physically and psychologically. Delving deeper into the tactical elements of major international tournaments, a clear pattern emerges. World Cup winning squads typically boast incredibly resolute and astute defensive lines. Argentina, alongside their inherent romanticism, has always harbored a mastery of the dark arts. This involves a ruthless pragmatism, an uncanny ability to provoke opponents, and defenders who are entirely willing to shed blood for the shirt. Just observe the way Nicolas Otamendi, Cristiano Romero, or Lisandro Martinez practically devour opposing forwards alive. The integration of this reinforced concrete defense, characterized by a near-thuggish on-pitch demeanor, with a Cristiano Ronaldo who possesses an insatiable thirst for victory up front, would engineer an unbreakable winning machine. During tense, gridlocked knockout matches where both sides prioritize safety and spaces are heavily restricted, the entire outcome is often dictated by a single fleeting moment. An Argentine squad featuring Ronaldo would become lethally dangerous during set pieces. With merely one corner kick or a long-range free kick, CR7 would utilize his basketball-esque leaping ability to secure a goal worth its weight in gold. Driven by a burning desire to validate his monumental ego, Ronaldo would discover an Argentine collective prepared to go to war for him, a legion of bodyguards ready to obliterate any obstacle to place him upon the throne. Without a shadow of a doubt, Ronaldo's Argentina would establish an empire that would dominate the Americas for consecutive years. Now, let us flip the coin and cast our gaze toward the Iberian Peninsula, the Portuguese national team, often dubbed the Brazil of Europe. Throughout footballing history, the Portuguese have consistently produced magnificent wingers, ranging from Luis Figo, Ricardo Quaresma, and Nani, to the modern-day Rafael Leao. They similarly boast a tradition of exceptionally disciplined and resolute defending, anchored by monumental figures like Ricardo Carvalho, Pepe, and Ruben Dias. However, what has been the systemic flaw plaguing the Portuguese squad for over a decade? It has been their persistent stagnation in the final third whenever confronted by opponents who proactively employ deep defensive blocks. Portugal excels remarkably at counter-attacking and delivering crosses, but when required to dictate the tempo, they frequently lack a transcendent creative genius, someone capable of threading the needle through an opposition defense with an unimaginable pass. Maestros like Rui Costa or Deco have long faded into the past, while the likes of João Moutinho or Bruno Fernandes occasionally miss that ultimate stroke of genius required to dismantle the notorious European low block. This exact juncture is where Lionel Messi's extraordinary magic would seamlessly come into play. By inserting Messi into the Portuguese tactical framework, we acquire the ultimate missing piece needed to perfect this footballing machine. Stripped of the immense pressure to carry the entire goal-scoring burden as he did for a historically disjointed Argentine squad, Messi in Portugal could comfortably adopt the role of a regista, a top, deep-lying playmaker, or a flamboyantly traditional number 10. Just picture this scenario. Portugal finds themselves deadlocked against a team parking the bus at the UROs. Messi receives the ball near the halfway line. He strolls, meticulously observing and scanning the entire pitch like a radar. The opposition's defensive shape is inevitably forced to compress in order to surround him. Then, with a mere drop of the shoulder and a delicate touch, Messi launches a sweeping long-range pass that entirely bypasses the defensive structure, allowing the ball to land softly into the blistering path of a sprinting Rafael Leao or João Felix. The goal is left wide open. This represents the fatal weapon that European football has perennially feared. Moreover, Messi's signature style of ball retention and tight space dribbling serves as the absolute kryptonite to modern European football. At the Euros, where national teams heavily prioritize tactical rigidity, maintain narrow formations, and strictly adhere to positional discipline, a player capable of shattering spatial structures with a single feint like Messi would trigger widespread localized panic. There exists an invisible yet massively decisive aspect within the realm of international competition: the psychological factor. Throughout the vast majority of his career, Lionel Messi was forced to carry an unbearably heavy boulder upon his shoulders. That boulder was named Diego Armando Maradona. Down in Argentina, football transcends sport to become a religion, and Maradona reigns as its immortal deity. The crushing expectation to deliver a World Cup trophy to the nation, the mandate to be as magnificent as the Golden Boy, practically suffocated Messi at times. There were even moments when he shockingly announced his retirement from international duty, shedding tears of absolute despair following consecutive agonizing defeats. The Argentine public used to judge him incredibly harshly, often accusing him of being merely a Catalan who lacked the requisite madness and fiery passion of a true Argentine. Yet, what if Messi were Portuguese? The narrative would drastically shift. Portugal is undeniably a nation harboring a fierce passion for the beautiful game, but their expectations are nowhere near as toxic or extreme as those found in South America. The most prominent legends of Portuguese football prior to this modern era were icons like Eusebio or Luis Figo, magnificent individuals who, nonetheless, never secured a World Cup or European Championship for their country. Consequently, Messi would arrive at the Portuguese camp not as someone burdened by historical debts, but rather as a savior, a sovereign universally worshipped from his very first day. This mental tranquility would comprehensively unshackle the magical feet of La Pulga, a Messi unburdened by psychological trauma, a joyful Messi who purely savors the thrill of the game, shielded by the impenetrable defensive wall of Pepe and Ruben Dias, would evolve into an unstoppable juggernaut on the European stage. Let's run a quick simulation of the 2016 Euros. Portugal claimed the title that year, employing a strictly pragmatic, counter-attacking philosophy. Had that specific squad possessed the brilliant mind of Messi, instead of a Ronaldo who suffered an early injury in the final, they might have completely dominated the French team from the opening whistle, rather than desperately awaiting Eder's miraculous strike in extra time. Conversely, reflecting on the recent 2022 World Cup, an already resilient and tenacious Argentina would have looked exponentially deadlier if their attacking spearhead had been a prime CR7 at the absolute peak of his finishing prowess. Now, close your eyes and visualize a World Cup final taking place within this exact parallel universe. Cristiano Ronaldo's Argentina clashing head-on with Lionel Messi's Portugal. On one side, a fiery, high-pressing setup featuring aggressive defending and a vertical approach designed to rapidly feed the number 7 goal-scoring machine. On the opposite side, a composed, possession-based philosophy characterized by intricate passes woven by the number 10 maestro, actively seeking to carve open the opposition's defensive block with surgical central penetrations. This wouldn't merely serve as the most magnificent match in footballing history, it would represent the absolute pinnacle of colliding tactical philosophies. One icon utilizing sheer willpower and ruthlessness to subjugate opponents, while the other leverages supreme vision and artistic elegance to decipher any defensive code. Naturally, this trade of the century will forever remain nothing more than a breathtaking what if. The unmatched greatness of both Messi and Ronaldo stems not solely from their raw talent, but intimately from the turbulent highs, agonizing lows, and ultimate glories they have endured alongside their true homelands. Ronaldo wept, stumbled, and eventually dragged Portugal to their maiden European Championship triumph. And Messi, after navigating a grueling journey plagued by relentless criticism and overwhelming pressure, finally smiled as he hoisted the Golden World Cup trophy in Qatar, completing the most legendary masterpiece in football history. Yet, strictly from the perspective of pure tactical system analysis, both of these hypothetical pairings, Ronaldo in Argentina and Messi in Portugal, are terrifyingly flawless. They flawlessly compensate for the historical vulnerabilities that have plagued both of these prestigious national teams. So, where do you stand on this debate? From a managerial standpoint, if this nationality swap scenario were a genuine reality, Do you firmly believe Cristiano Ronaldo in Argentina or Lionel Messi in Portugal would secure more international silverware for their respective nations? Be sure to drop your tactical perspectives in the comments section below so we can spark a vibrant debate. If you thoroughly enjoyed this deeply analytical and imaginative football scenario, please remember to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel to never miss our upcoming videos. Goodbye for now, and we eagerly look forward to seeing you in our next captivating episodes.